organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, the president addresses the nation on the eve of his trip to Iowa.
Plus, find out how much water is being wasted in UI dorms.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, see what Coach Fran McCaffrey said is beneficial about the Nebraska Cornhuskers entering the Big Ten.
That's all coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
From Studio 151, your television news, sports, and weather source for the Daily Iowan, this is Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks for tuning in to your Tuesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Josh Bolander.
And I'm Tasha Woods. President Obama gave his State of the Union address tonight, just a day ahead of his trip to Iowa on Wednesday. The president's address outlined an economic plan he says is designed for sustained recovery and growth. The plan includes many ideas he has championed in the past, including ending Bush-era tax cuts and offering tax incentives to companies that bring jobs back to the U.S. Analysts say the president's speech was intended to set the tone for his re-election campaign by focusing on economic inequality and future of the middle class. President Obama will be in Cedar Rapids on Wednesday to give a speech at a manufacturing company. We'll be at the event, so be sure to check out dailyiowan.com throughout the day for updates and tune in again tomorrow night for full coverage here on Daily Iowan TV.
According to information the UI released today, a male student was walking down the hill on Dubuque Street towards Mayflower Residence Hall when he was robbed at knife point by 3 men. The victim suffered minor injuries and was taken to the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics for treatment. The victim has not reported the incident to the UI or Iowa City Police, so there is no investigation at this time.
Many UI students enjoy living in apartments and homes off campus, but one of the perks of dorm life is the luxury of not having to worry about high water bills. But as Stephanie Cardenas explains, there's a problem with how that water is being consumed.
Whether it be for showering or washing dishes, students in the dorms have unlimited access to how they use the water. I asked Catherine Shooks how she uses water in the dorms.
I leave the sink running when I'm brushing my teeth, and when I'm washing the dishes, I don't really turn it off if I'm putting them on the drying rack.
But not all students can let the water run. What types of effects can changing location have?
Did live in the dorms, I didn't watch the amount of water that I used. But now that I live in an apartment, I do.
I asked environmental sciences professor Elmer Bettis why students should care about water in the University of Iowa.
Most of Iowa City's energy usage as a city is between the water plant and the wastewater plant. 30% of all the energy used in Iowa City by the city is used to treat water. So every time you send water down there, that's just more money and more greenhouse gases that they use to treat that water.
To put it in perspective, Parkland uses about 240,000 gallons of water per month, Reno uses 500,000 gallons, and Burge uses an outstanding 1.2 million gallons of water per month. So how can students decrease the amount of water used on campus? Professor Bettis gives us a tip of advice.
If you could do it rather than sort of a top-down thing to get students to organize to try to use less water.
So the next time you shower or brush your teeth, be sure to monitor the amount of water you use. This is Stephanie Cardenas, Daily Iowan TV.
Iowa's unemployment numbers continue to fall. That's according to a new report from Iowa Workforce Development that shows Iowa's unemployment rate is now at 5.6%. That's half a percentage point ahead of where we were in December of 2010. Iowa is still far below the national average of 8.5%, which also fell and is down from 9.4% in 2010.
An Iowa City man was arrested on sexual abuse charges after allegedly having sex with an intoxicated underage girl. According to police, 20-year-old Bryce Winstrom picked up a 15-year-old girl and took her to his apartment in October. The two allegedly smoked drugs and got drunk before Winstrom had sex with the girl, apparently aware she was only 15. He also allegedly hid the girl under blankets in his bathtub when police came to the apartment looking for the girl. Winstrom is charged with third-degree sexual abuse.
Following recent recent violence at stops around Iowa City, some people are questioning whether it's safe to ride the bus. Daily Iowan TV's Shireen Anetti takes a look at what's causing the hesitation.
Many students and local businesses have noticed the crowds of people in the Old Capitol Mall near the entrance of the Iowa City downtown bus stop. The overcrowding of people lingering near the entrance has led to curiosity among the public. In the past few weeks, an increase of fights in the area has put a bigger spotlight on the problem. Although there have been more officers positioned in the mall's entrance to help minimize fighting, people still want to know what else is being done.
Yes, it's a lot of fights downtown in this area. I don't know why, I really don't know why it's a lot of fights, but usually after school there's more fights on Fridays and Mondays Don't really know why.
Although some students like Rodney recognize this area in the Old Capitol Mall as a popular hangout spot, there are also students like Kyle Milliken who see the large crowds to be unnecessary.
I just see a lot of stragglers roaming around the area that are people who don't even take the bus in the first place, so I don't even know why they're waiting out here on a given day.
Whether it's students waiting for the bus or simply using the mall entrance as a hotspot hangout area, it's apparent that the overcrowding has become a growing issue for the public. There have been no further reports of violence in the past week, so hopefully the officials' response to the increase of fights will put a halt to the disorderly behavior.
Officials say they might explore changing bus routes if the problems continue.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, see what wacky student orgs showed up to today's fair.
Plus, in sports, we take a look at why the Hawks are struggling to shoot from beyond the arc.
But now let's check in with Christina Targos for the local weather forecast. Christina, the president's coming tomorrow. What kind of weather is he going to bring with him?
Well, Tasha, it looks like tomorrow might be a bit warmer than today, but the president is still going to need a jacket when he steps off Air Force One. Tomorrow morning should be around 24 degrees with cloudy skies. It should warm up, though, with a noon temp around 33 degrees and an overall high of 39. And in the evening, it should cool off again to around 30 degrees. Looking ahead now, on Thursday, you can expect a high of 41 degrees, so you should see some melting before we get some more snow with a few showers Friday. This weekend will drop down below freezing with highs of 31 and 28 on Saturday and Sunday. Monday, it should warm up again around 35 and 37 on Tuesday. That's a look at the forecast. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Christina. A senior state senator is calling for a new debate on legalizing medical marijuana. 79-year-old Democrat Gene Frazee of Fort Madison said the issue needs to be revisited so lawmakers can reach a consensus. The senator, who has served 26 years in the legislature, said he is personally undecided on the issue. In 2010, the Iowa Board of Pharmacy recommended the drug be reclassified for medical use, but the idea has made little headway in Des Moines.
And students looking for something fun to be a part of this semester headed down to the UI Student Organization Fair Tuesday afternoon at the IMU. One group that seemed out of place, or at least time, was the Society for Creative Anachronism, part of a larger national organization with many subgroups across the country. The local chapter is called the Shire of Shadowsdale. The group travels across the Midwest to participate in medieval-themed events.
And they're weekend events. You come in costume, and there's fighting activities, there's arts and sciences activities, there are classes and workshops. In the evening, there's a feast, generally speaking. There's dancing, there's royal court with heraldry.
The fair housed dozens of other student organizations, varying from the fun and quirky to the more serious, with many putting an emphasis on service and community engagement.
And now let's take a look beyond Iowa. Presidential candidate Mitt Romney released his 2011 tax returns on Tuesday, which show the former Massachusetts governor made more than $21 million last year. The documents show that Romney and his wife paid just over $3 million in federal taxes, putting them at an effective tax rate under 14%. Romney faced criticism in recent debates when he said he was unsure whether he would release his returns. By comparison, opponent Newt Gingrich made around $3.2 million in 2010 and paid an effective tax rate of 31%.
And take a look at this. This is what Cairo, Egypt looked like 1 year ago, as Tuesday marked the 1-year anniversary of the protest in Tahrir Square that sparked an uprising against President Mubarak. The Egyptian protests followed similar demonstrations in Tunisia and were part of the larger movement dubbed the Arab Spring. Yesterday, Egypt's new parliament held its first legislation session since Mubarak's removal. To hear what Egyptian students think about the changes to their country, to be sure to check out Wednesday's edition of the Daily Iowan.
And now Daily Iowan TV's Alicia Dinyes is here for your look at Hawkeye sports.
The Hawkeye men's basketball team will take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers for the first time in conference play. Daily Iowan Sports' Kate Constable gets some perspective on how adding them to the Big Ten makes it a better basketball league.
They've got a fan base. You know, there's atmosphere in that building. They're getting a new building, so I think it's terrific. You know, I've been impressed with as I've studied them, obviously early, and then when they had the guys out, and then when they came back. You saw how they played at Illinois when they finally got everybody back. I mean, that game was in the balance with 10 seconds to go. Tough game at Illinois. So they've proven they can play on the road. They've proven they can beat people.
Nebraska is going to be a team that keeps improving. You know, they played in the Big 12. They've played Division I basketball before. They're going to be competitive, and you know, it's nice to have another school that is competitive to join our league.
And while sometimes a long break like this can throw guys out of their regular season routine, Coach Fran McCaffrey believes that this break has been positive, both in refocusing the guys' energy and patching up any bumps and bruises.
I think it was good. You know, will we be a little bit rusty? We'll find out. In terms of where it was timed, you know, we just start the new semester academically. They had a chance to refocus there. We had a couple guys with a little bit nagging injuries. They got a chance to take care of those.
Kate Constable, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Staying on the hardwood, the three-point shot can be one of the most exciting plays in all of basketball. It can also be one of the biggest game changers. Daily Iowan TV sports reporter Nick Robertson takes a look at how Iowa has been performing from long distance.
Last weekend, the three-point line celebrated its 25th birthday. For some, this colored arch could mean the difference between victory and defeat. But to Iowa men's basketball team, it's been something of a no-show. The Hawks have shot 280 three-pointers, but have only made 96 of them. That's 34%. Currently with those numbers, Iowa stands second to last in three-point shot attempts. That's a number that would make any Hawkeye fan nervous. But is it concerning to basketball coach Fran McCaffrey?
You know, typically we like to see us make more baskets. So yeah, I would like to see it improve. So I think you take advantage of what your strengths are, and then, you know, I don't think it makes sense to start jacking, especially guys that aren't traditionally good three-point shooters.
But surprisingly, this issue is really not a big deal in Fran McCaffrey's offense. This is because the Hawks have been getting the majority of their points in transition or from quick short-range jumpers. So if the team is shooting like this, or, well, it won't affect the flow of the offense. Needless to say, if an Iowa player were to get hot from behind the arc, much like senior Matt Gatens did against Michigan, we could see a lot more scores looking like, well, you get the point. Nick Robertson, Daily Iowan TV, Sports.
The men are back in action against their new conference rival, Nebraska. You can catch the game Thursday at 6 in Carver Hawkeye Arena. The women's swim team received a big honor today. Swimmer Becky Stoughton was named Big Ten Conference Freshman of the Week for the second time. She earned this title after a meet against Northwestern and Harvard on January 21st, winning 4 individual events. Stoughton is familiar with this accomplishment, though. She was named Big Ten Swimmer of the Week this past November and tabbed Big Ten Conference Freshman of the Week for the first time in December. Stoughton and her teammates will travel to Indiana this weekend for the Shamrock Invitational. So guys, there's a lot of big things coming out of the pool for Iowa.
Thanks, Alicia. And before we leave you tonight, the nominees for the 84th Academy Awards were announced today. Martin Scorsese's Hugo leads all the films with 11 nominations, including 1 for Best Picture. Not far behind, though, was the Golden Globe's Best Picture winner, The Artist, with 10 nominations. The legendary Meryl Streep is up for Best Actress for her role as British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, and Brad Pitt and George Clooney will compete for Best Actor for their roles in Moneyball and The Descendants.
And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Wednesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Find out if the City Council decided to lower the Paula ratio for taking away a bar's liquor license. Plus, see what new steps the city's taking on the road to installing red light cameras.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.